Hello, Internet Wanderers, and welcome to Cheap and Cheerful. At its core, this channel is about finding good value in discount games through the medium of reviews and a little silly stuff sprinkled around for good measure. I think in the past year or two, people have finally come to understand that there is no such thing as a fully objective review, or at least I hope they have, because it's the truth. Once you come to accept that, it becomes important that you understand a reviewer's frame of reference and biases. There are two ways to do this. One, you can intake a copious amount of their content, and over time you will learn their likes and dislikes, pet peeves, etc. Or two, they can just tell them to you, and that is exactly what I plan on doing right now. Before the specifics, and above all else, I'm a budget-conscious gamer. I only play on one system, PC, unless you count my phone, on which gaming is a third or fourth priority. My hardware isn't shoddy, but it's not cutting edge, and I wring everything I can out of it before replacing. I rarely, if ever, buy games at or near launch because there's just too much good stuff to play that can be had at a discount. That, and my pre-order stance of pretty much never ever 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 ever. At the prices that games drop to, my biggest priority becomes the time cost rather than the money cost, and that's really what this channel is all about. Not wasting time, with price being a distant second. Now we can talk specifics. My favorite genre is stealth, hands down. Splinter Cell is one of the formative games of my youth and is still very high on my list of favorite games. A show of force is fine and all, but I like outthinking my enemy and applying superior tactics. It's also one of the few genres that typically allows and rewards non-lethal execution. It bugs me when games give you small elements of stealth but don't actually allow true stealth gameplay, like you often run across in first-person shooters. I'm also a big proponent of weird little indie games. Variety is something I crave, so the low money and time costs and the creativity of the current indie boom has made me a very happy camper. My least favorite serious genre, because let's be honest, deep down no one actually likes the useless broken Steam Greenlight Simulator genre, and we all know it, is horror. No wait, JRPG. Actually, is there a horror-based JRPG? Because that's my least favorite. Honestly though, horror is the worst. Jump scares and overly grisly visuals just don't do anything for me besides bring stress, and added stress isn't exactly what I'm looking for in my free time. If that's the kind of game you're looking for, I'll be honest, you're not going to find it here. The reason horror is worse than JRPG, in my opinion, big ol' air quotes there, is that there are a handful of JRPGs that I've enjoyed, but for the most part I find them tedious and grindy. To a T, the exceptions brought a unique style, a snappy plot, and were a tenth the length of your average offering in the style. I'm sure there will be a video on them at some point. Speaking of grindy, I don't tend to have much patience for 2D puzzle games, as the genre tends to lean on repetition like a stand-up comedian leans on air travel jokes. You get to travel all over the country and the TSA sucks. We get it. I'll play games for story or gameplay, as long as one is strong enough. That being said, if a game has a story, I tend to pay attention, and if it's well enough written or has a likable character, I tend to get invested much more often than I do with mechanics. Obviously, the best games manage to meld the two, combining to have much more impact and resonance than they could standing on their own. A childhood of playing games socially, with my brothers all around the same computer, has left me partial to games with co-op modes. It's nice to see a rise in couch co-op modes in PC gaming, and I'm beyond excited for Nvidia's new share features to be released. In the end, gaming is a free time activity for me, like it is for most people, so whether or not a game fits into the classic definition of a video game matters very little in comparison to whether or not it's entertaining. 30 versus 60 FPS, graphical downgrades from trailers and demos, whatever else the internet is shouting about at the moment, I typically can't be bothered. I get that 60 is better, but if a game runs well and I'm having fun, it's not worth my time to care about it, let alone check the frame rate. Now that I've managed to upset a large number of people with that last bit, it's time to wrap this up. Hopefully, this will help bring some needed context to the reviews you find here, and make them even the smallest bit more useful. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.